Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of November. I hope you're well. These are going to be shorter than the normal monthly reads because they just cover that 2-week period, and they're designed more as a kind of energetic bump more than anything else. As with last month, we're going to be focusing on the lesson of the energy that you're in at the moment. It all makes sense as I pull the cards. So, can I have 3 cards for Capricorn's current energy, please? That's the first one. We have the 5 of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the 10 of Pentacles. This is interesting because in the meditation that I did prior to starting the video, what I got was a real sense of tension, which is really quite odd. Notice that we've got the 3 of Swords and Judgment at the bottom of the deck. There was a real sense of tension. I've actually got jaw ache from how much I was clenching my jaw during that meditation, which is absolutely not what one is going for in such circumstances. And then here we have this 5 of Wands. Now the other 2 cards are cards that generally augur very well. We've got the Ace of Pentacles and we've got the 10 of Pentacles. As an earth sign, these are 2 cards that we would expect to see if all things were going well. The Ace of Pentacles indicates a new start in something, right? Something tangible, which as an earth sign is something that you like. It can indicate a new job, promotion, something like that, but it feels like it's something a bit broader than that for you at the moment, Capricorn. I'm afraid I don't remember at all what the content of your monthly read was this time. Maybe just go and check that out if you're interested. But we have here the Ace, which contains, you know, the full potentiality of the suit of Pentacles, and then we have the culmination, right? We have sometimes it's the material fulfillment card, but it talks about commitment to something, right? You don't get 10 Pentacles without really committing to it, and you've got the beginning and effectively the end here all contained in one energy at the moment. So I feel like for a lot of you, you've started something new, and it's something that it speaks of security to you in some ways. Now this could be financial security, and we'll not overlook that because it's very, very possible, but it can also talk about something a bit broader than that, you know. If we come back to this 5 of Wands though, and this is the predominant theme that is really, as I'm stroking my jaw with how much tension I'm holding in there, there's some element of conflict about it. Are you having trouble relaxing into what it is that you've brought in for yourself, right? Because this does feel like a new start of some description. Are you expecting it to go wrong somewhere? I don't really want to pull any clarifiers because I like to keep these nice and short, but oh fuck it, do you know what, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I said I wouldn't. I'm going to do it. Get these. Could you tell me what this tension is? Right. Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of emotional distrust going on here, right? We've got the 3 of Wands and the 8 of Swords, right? And the 3 of Wands for me is a card of manifestation for a start. It's about bringing things, you know, in towards you. It's doing the things that you planned, therefore being, you know, manifesting of some description. But we've also got this 8 of Swords underneath it, right? There's some sort of limiting thoughts that you're having around it. Like maybe it's not at this point fulfilling you as much as it would. I would posit that potentially the reason for that is because you are not accepting it. There's some resistance in there somewhere for you, right? We've got the 4 of Cups and the Moon clarifying this 5 of Wands. This is a shift in something, right? And it feels like it's an internal shift with you. There's an internal battle going on about the new things that you've brought towards you, which arguably may be what you've always wanted. Part of you is rejecting it though. Why, Capricorn? Why are you rejecting it? Why are you not relaxing into it the way that you thought that you would? Well, let's have a look at the lesson and see what this energy is trying to show you. I mean, just straight from the top of my head, I'm going to say that it's pointing to something that you haven't really looked at inside you. And have maybe been refusing to look at. It's one of those things that's really, really obvious, but you just not addressing it at the moment. What's the lesson here for Capricorn, please? Well, that one flew out. I don't even know what it is. It landed face down. 3 cards for lesson for Capricorn. Here. How intriguing. Oh, Cappy. Right. Repeating card, we've got the 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. It's followed by the 4 of Wands. Now, the 3 of Wands is about looking to the future, right? Starting to enact those plans that you made, you know, as your manifestations come in, kind of working with those. And underneath it, we've got the 4 of Wands, which is creating that new foundation for yourself in some way, right? It's very closely associated with the notion of home for me. And I don't mean necessarily your 4 walls, although it absolutely could be. I'm generally talking more about, you know, your position in the universe and those people around you, right? You get some really good news. Who are the first 5 people that you call to share that with, right? That they are home to you. But as an earth sign, there are a number of other considerations that would factor in that perhaps, say, for, you know, a Pisces wouldn't matter at all. And part of those are going to be, you know, your resources, financial or otherwise, around you. Cappy, are you having some imposter syndrome going on here? I feel rather that you might, because the cards that have come out here, the first one is the 5 of Pentacles, interestingly. The second one is the Queen of Wands. Now that's Aries energy there, and it could indicate a female fire sign around you. It could actually well indicate a male fire sign around you too. Could indicate someone who's just got fire prominently in their chart, or display the characteristics of a fire sign, right? This is someone who's a bit more impulsive than you, a bit more spontaneous than you. I say it could be a man or a woman because tarot doesn't give a shit about the gender, and it's not important. It's about the presentation of the energy. This is about confidence, right? But the cards that have come up around it, so we've got this 4 of Cups here, right? So we've got repeating 4 of Cups, we've got repeating 3 of Wands. The phrase that always comes to mind when I see the Queen of Wands is fake it until you make it, right? She is an energy of kind of pushing through that imposter syndrome, but it feels a little bit like it's caught you up again. Now, like I said, I can't remember what was in your last reading, but I do remember the notion of imposter syndrome coming up at some point in the summer, right? It feels like it's kind of back with a vengeance, and maybe it's because you didn't deal with it properly then the first time it raised its head, but it's back here now, because this 5 of Pentacles deals with lack, right? Or a fear of lack in some sort of way, right? Notice how it's exactly halfway between this Ace and this 10 here. It can be an actual lack, like you're struggling, you're poor, all that sort of thing, or it can be a perceived lack. And being that we're talking here specifically about what is the lesson for you, this is a fear of things kind of slipping away from you, honestly, is how it feels, right? And we don't have that if we feel like we deserve everything that we've got. Faking it until you make it. This 4 of Cups here is talking about rejection, again, just as this one was, right? It's a fear of accepting fully what is in your life now, wholeheartedly, for the fear that it may at some point slide away from you. Got more fire energy with the Temperance card. But there's an alchemical process that's indicated here by this Temperance card. I mean, it could well be that there's a person who forms part of this for you, like a fire sign, possibly Sagittarius. But if not, and I feel like for most of you it's not, what we've got here is peace and acceptance, the Temperance card, right? Things being difficult and you having bested those, and there's a crown in the back there, right? Mountains always indicate adversity and challenging situations, the sort of situations in which you generally thrive, Capricorn. But for some reason, they're kind of, they're falling by the wayside for you, and there's a really strong feeling here that you don't trust it. The challenge is gone somewhat. You have overcome it, you have bested it, you're out the other side. And where you should be feeling victorious, where you should be feeling like you've really achieved something, you actually don't really know how you feel about it. Seven of Cups talks about illusion, right? It talks about, well, in this particular depiction, I always think it's telling that this chap is silhouetted, like he's literally in the dark, where all of these options are up here in the light. And when it's Cups, it's emotional. What you have gained isn't fulfilling you quite as much as it should do, and I genuinely feel it's because you're not trusting it, right? You're pulling back from it in some way. We're going to pull some advice cards, because what this is telling me is that there's a bit of investigation that's required from you, Capricorn, right? This Four of Cups are the pair of cards that are really drawing my eye the most, right? That's the rejection of this, because it is too easy, right? It's too easy, and therefore something is bound to go wrong at some point. I wouldn't go as far as to say you're catastrophizing at this point, because actually I feel like the energy that you're in is a little bit more nuanced than it was in the summer. It feels like that, but the tension remains. Expecting things to go wrong, not in any kind of like, you know, cataclysmic, you know, floods and plagues of insects kind of way, but just unsettled. Could I have some advice for Capricorn, please? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I think. I don't even know where that card's gone there. What the fuck? No, that is bizarre. It's just... I'm almost certain that that card was the moon, but now I can't see it. It's literally vanished. Hold on, Cappy. Bear with me a second. Like, there's nowhere for it to have gone. Well, Capricorn, I'm actually baffled by that. Genuinely, it just twirled off down here. I kind of feel like I should pause the video and go look for this card. Okay, well that's pretty weird. Particularly given that I believe it was the moon card. Let me see if the moon card is here before I proceed on this basis. Right. It seems like that little flash that I caught of it was correct, because the moon card is not present in the deck anymore. Ooh, wow. Okay. So Capricorn, it's like this. The reason that it's fascinating is because the moon card is the bits of you that are hidden from you, right? From your examination. And that's the card that's literally disappeared now. The two cards that came out with the moon, and that also is interesting, are the Two of Wands and the Sun. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that the moon, as well as being the hidden part of you, it talks about the subconscious, the non-conscious, right? The bit where it's not your consciousness in control, but deep-seated fears, mistrust about things, shadow stuff, right? Its equal and exact opposite for me is then the Sun, and the Sun comes to mean the consciousness, right? Those things that you can see, those things that you can work with. Now, the Two of Wands is a crossroads. It's crossroads energy. Talking about going left or going right, right? It's actually the precursor to the Three of Wands, which is a card that has come out for you several times. It feels to me like, with the fake it until you make it, the fact that you are... I've fucking lost it now, anyway. The fact that the Three of Wands came out twice seems to suggest to me that you're kind of living your best life. You're living exactly what it is that you wanted. But at this point, what you have to do is kind of allow yourself internally to catch up, because you haven't. It's almost like everything just kind of sorted itself the way, you know, I'm not going to say without any effort, because it was with exceeding amounts of effort. But again, now you've popped out the other side, you're like, oh, what's about to go? Something's going wrong. It's bound to go wrong. It's like taking a little step back and letting your mind catch up with where you are now, right? Sort of looking at it in a reasonable and logical way and going, what's going on here? What am I actually afraid of? Is that realistic, honestly? It's not necessary for life to be a grind all the time. Sometimes the pressure comes off, and that's been a theme for you all year, Capricorn, that kind of sense of easing off the gas a little bit, right? And then we've got this card, and imagine I've got the moon card in my other hand, because that's what it was, right? Consciousness and the subconscious, the non-conscious, need a chance to catch up with each other, right? They need to be equaled out a little bit. What's that word I'm looking for? It's not equaled out, balanced out, I guess, right? You need to allow the pair of them to come into alignment. If you are to get to a place where you don't feel like you are fake anymore, you don't feel like you're an imposter, right? You've got to where you are, you earned where you are. Now it's time maybe to start digging around a little bit in that and working out why it is that at this point it feels like something approaching but not quite there yet, approaching self-sabotage. If you allow it to continue, it's quite possible that it may end up being self-sabotage. And this is the lesson. This is why it's time to stop now and take stock of everything and work out what you're afraid of. You know, what are your beasties in the cupboard? Don't just shine a torch in there, like put the light on, get yourself a burning pitchfork, something like that, right? Have it out and have a conversation with it. Because it doesn't feel like it's actually all that legitimate, right? Your feelings are valid, for sure, but the things that you're actually concerned about, they're not really relevant anymore, Capricorn. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll link the monthly reading in the corner. It should be about here now, actually, so you can check it out and see if the themes move across. But as ever, if it resonated with you, I'd love it if you would like the video, share and subscribe and all that shiny stuff. But like, honestly, Capricorn, you've earned it. Just give yourself time to catch up with it. All right, love you all very much. Take care.